Hi, folks, and welcome back. Thanks for watching. Today I'm doing, quite honestly, a story that I'm more than a little bit surprised that I'm doing. Because it's about televisions. We all have televisions. We all buy televisions. But I want to explain to you what led to this. In the last year, I got my cat here. He wants attention. He's an old boy, about 15 years old. In the last year, 3 times I've had to get a new debit card because charges were made on my debit card that I did not make. And I do not pay bills online, and I do not shop online. What checks that I write checks to pay for bills and mail them off just like the old way, or we go like for utilities and stuff like that and pay in person. So I'm not giving, I don't use my debit card much or credit card or anything like that. I purposely try to keep my cards off the internet. So I was trying to figure out how my card could be so compromised that 3 times in 1 year I had to get a new debit card. Somebody's getting my card. Not my wife's, mine. Now my wife only uses her debit card at stores and gas stations, but hers has not had a problem. Mine has, and mine's used at even less places. Okay? So I started researching, and I found out that I have a Roku system. I use Roku. All my televisions either have Roku built into them, like my primary set. One of my secondary sets has a Roku Ultra device hooked to it, because we use Roku a lot. Well, what led to this total investigation was I found out that Roku spies on you. And they sell your data. Now, they got everything on me. They got my email address, they got my address, they got my debit card number. They got a lot of stuff. All personal stuff of mine, including, like my debit card, my email address. And they gather all the data on where you go, what you watched, and everything else, and they sell this data. And like I just said, I had to 3 times last year, in this last year, between the end of 24 through 25, 3 times to get a new debit card. Well, we found out that Roku was penetrated and compromised on at least 2 times in that period of time that they admit to. They've had their system compromised and their database was accessed. Probably downloaded is what we're talking about here. So, and that could have happened to the point where they didn't know it was, or they don't want to admit how many times it was compromised. But that's just one of the things. I wanted to go over what I found out when I was looking at televisions and the streaming devices and all this. Well, on the television side, Vizio, that Walmart now owns, I guess, and sells their products both in Walmart and Sam's Club. I'm going to go from the least offensive to the most offensive. Vizio's collecting your data, all the information they have on you, what you watched, what you did on your television, in any way, shape, or form, down to the commercials you watched, etc., etc., etc. And anything you bought online with your debit card, so you gave them your debit card, your email address, your address, blah, blah, blah. They sell it for money. Next on the list, at number 2, is LG. LG televisions basically do the same thing that Vizio does, but on a higher, bigger scale. They're known for it, and that's the way it is. And then on top of them is Samsung. Samsung, they collect your information on all. So you have a Samsung phone, Samsung TV. They just collected more and more of your information of the television group. Samsung is worse than LG or Vizio. Just people don't know all this spying and everything that's going on. They just don't know. I didn't realize all this was going on. But I should have, because like Microsoft MacBooks, Chrome OS, and Google, they all participate in this on an even bigger scale than the TVs actually. Ubuntu did it, but in the Linux world, you do something like that, it's a kiss of death. And they did it for a short period of time and had to get rid of it because people would just go like me and download another distro on a thumb drive and boop, have you gone in no time. So Conoco, which owns Ubuntu, had to stop it. But only because they're in the open source community did that happen. The rest of them never stopped anything. So after the 3 big TV makers, you got Roku. Now Roku is both on TVs, and that's where it started. But Roku, if you have the devices, does the same thing on their devices that they do on their TVs. They gather all this information up just like all the rest of them, and they sell it. Now Google or Roku, I should say, is much bigger at doing this than the regular TV manufacturers, because Roku is on a whole bunch of televisions. You know, they don't make televisions. They're on Hisense. They're on a bunch of different ones. They're on. I mean, the number of TV brands that Roku's on, I don't know, 20, 25, I don't know how many. A lot of different TVs have some of their TVs with the Roku OS running it. Some of the brands are all Roku, like on, but some of them, and I think Hisense now has all of them, are all Roku TVs. And that's, I own a Hisense and I have an on. But even on all their tens of millions of devices that Roku has out there, they're doing the same thing. But Roku isn't the biggest. Turns out that the biggest is Amazon, the Fire Sticks, and some TVs that have the Amazon OS on their TVs. They do the most in-depth data collection, and they sell to the highest bidder. Well, when you're talking about a company that is selling all this information, okay, well, they have your name, because you know what Amazon does. They sell stuff. They have your name, they have your address, they have your phone number, they have your credit card and probably debit card numbers that you use to purchase stuff, and all your watch history, what you watch on the Fire Sticks or on the TVs that have Fire OS on it. They got all this. What the poor public, those just regular normal people out there that are watching a television, okay, they don't know their data is being collected, and that all this information that's being collected on them is being sold. And yes, this includes all personal information. It's all being sold. And so, for those of you who are wondering how your credit card or debit cards are getting passed around the internet, well, that's what I was looking to find out. And I think that's what I found out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.